guys, today we're taking a look at the Exia Dark Matter. This is definitely a bit of an older kit. You can really tell by the articulation that it's not the best. In terms of aesthetics, this is actually really cool in my opinion. Like, I really like the design of this kit. Black and red, pretty cool color scheme. And so the red in the camera, I'm not sure, might look a little pinker. And it is a slight bit pinkish, I would say, definitely. But it just looks like a very sharp kit overall. And there are a decent amount of options when it comes to posing him with different equipment and stuff like that. And so right now I have him just with that kind of beam saber sword that he's got in the Exia, classic Exia style, like all the other Exia kits. That part going into his forearm, and then that part going into his hand. And then he does obviously come with his two swords, right? So right off the bat, the biggest gripes that I have with this kit are obviously the articulation is not amazing, which I'll go over in a second. And then also the swords, this sticker is kind of dumb looking, to be honest. Like, I guess from afar, it's like not a big deal. They're trying to just make it like a shiny ball type orb thing, but realistically, if you're looking at it like this, it's kind of looks dumb. So stickers are kind of stupid, or kind of dumb looking, but they are pretty cool when he's holding both of them. But I would say actually these shoulder pieces are kind of annoying because their connection is not the strongest. It's usually not a big deal when you're posing, but I have found, like, when I was putting them together, it's not the funnest part to put in. The two swords looking really cool. That's never happened. His leg has never come off. I know he's looking real fragile right now. It's actually pretty stable. It's just that his articulation's not very good. It's not the worst, but just be prepared that he is an older kid, so he doesn't have the new technology of a lot of the new high grades that have really good articulation. But yeah, he comes with those two swords. So I wish they kind of made this one more ice looking, but it's just flat gray. And then let's go over some articulation. So let's just take the backpack off for a sec. So his head's a little loose, in my opinion. See this shoulder piece. This usually hasn't happened until I started this review, but maybe I just need to clip it on better. Of course, when I start the review, the Gundam just falls apart, right? But anyway, so the head, again, like I was saying, is a little loose, but it's not bad by any means. It's got your standard ball joint, forward, backwards. Giggity giggity. Mecha Gaikotsu, you know where you at. And then arm goes all the way around. See how far his arm can go up. So that's as far as you're gonna get the arm with the shoulder piece on there. And then he's got the bicep swivel, elbow bend. Elbow bend is not amazing, but whatever, it will suffice. And then obviously standard ball joint at the wrist, but with this one, I think they want you to have it, so you can have it fully, I'll use a different hand. You can have his hand fully in there like that, but then there's very little articulation. There's almost no articulation there, but they let you pull it out there so that there is more articulation. It's just a little loose, right? But if you want it to be tighter, you can just shove it in there, but then you can't really articulate it in different ways. And then again, you have these moving parts here that kind of move with the shoulder piece. He's got like no ab crunch, but yeah, 0 ab crunch, but he does spin, turn all the way around. And then with the front skirts, they kind of get in the way sometimes, so sometimes they won't move up like that. Sometimes they'll just get stuck. Actually, that time seems okay. Yeah, so sometimes, right now it's being really cooperative, but sometimes these get stuck here, and then moving the leg is kind of annoying like that. They'll just get stuck. But like I was saying, right now they're being really cooperative, which is good. So sometimes you'll have to turn it by itself, lift the skirt up first, and then move the leg. But I think that's a common thing with a lot of Exia builds. And then same thing with the back skirt is, this is actually a very common thing with a lot of high grades, is the back skirt's not very mobile. So his leg only goes back that far. And so he can kind of not really do the splits. So that's as far back as the legs go, and then that's as far forward as they go. And then the articulation with the side splits, or whatever you want to call it, side articulation of the legs is actually horrendous. It's terrible. That's as far as he can split his legs. That's as far as he can make his splits. Okay, so, because it's just a ball joint in there. So that's kind of disappointing, but again, older kid, so not to be unexpected, not totally unexpected. And then bend at the knee, not bad. And then you got pretty good ankle mobility, I'd say. Right, all the way back, all the way forward. And then the ankle tilt is all right. It's not too bad, pretty good. That pretty much does it for the articulation. And then if you want to look at the backpack, there's some cool stuff you can do with the backpack. So you can have it in bird mode, or whatever you want to call it. Again, I haven't watched the show much, so I don't really know what it's called, but the backpack's really cool. I like the design of the backpack. I can put this on a stand if I want. And you can have like little bird mode guy and get the camera to focus. And the backpack has a lot of stuff you can do with it in terms of articulation if you want. So you can move these around, right? And then these move. And then this, the whole thing itself moves. So there's actually two ball joints, if you can see in there. So this is attached to that middle piece on a ball joint, right? And then same, this is attached to that middle piece on a ball joint. So there's two ball joints there, and then another ball joint connection there. So there's a lot kind of you can do with this. But yeah, and then so you just put his head down, and then you just shove it right into his back. There, like that. Rotate these back in, and now he's on his back. Right, so he's got this super cool backpack. So again, like aesthetically, the design is really cool to me. Like if you really like the design of this kit, you should definitely go for it, because he just looks cool. Even just standing here like this, he already looks really cool to me. And then the other thing you can do is attach the swords to his waist. So it's kind of annoying because I have to use a knife to get these pieces out, right on his waist there. And then it comes with this piece. And then I can put one of the swords there. So obviously you can do it on both sides. So if you wanted to, you could just have both swords hanging like that there. But I'm not going to do it just because the connection here is very weak, as you saw, right? Like it's not really connecting to much. And when you're posing him and stuff like that, when you're trying to get him around to do stuff, like you're going to knock this thing and it's just going to come off. So not a big deal. I'd say you pose him first and then shove those things, the swords, back on his waist, but I probably prefer to just have him pose with the swords or not wearing them at all. Even though he does look pretty cool with them holstered on his waist there. In terms of other accessories, you're getting the 3 swords, right? These 2. And then this sword, right? So the 3 swords. Then you can take that out, and this can be the gun, right? That Exia gun. if you want to use a pose that's like that, right? Or you can just shove this thing in and it becomes a sword. You get one of these hands, the left hand, you don't get a right hand. And then you get two sword holding hands, because what happens if you try to put the sword in without the sword holding hands is this will get in the way, right? So he can't really hold the swords unless he's using the sword holding hands, which is what I was kind of annoyed at first, because I was trying to put the sword in and then that sword goes into his forearm there, so that's kind of dumb. That's why it comes with the sword holding hands too, so you can put them like that, and then they don't really get in the way. He's just pointing them forward at you. And then two basic hands, just basic holy hands. So again, if you really like the look of this kit, I think you should definitely get it. You just got to be aware of the articulation not being that great, especially in the legs. Like I said, he can't really do, that's as wide as he can do. But the backpack's really cool. Again, these stickers are pretty dumb. The other stickers look fine. I mean, that's a sticker, right? The yellow parts in there is a sticker. And then like the other Exia ones, like I really like these stickers that go underneath the see-through part to make it kind of metallic-y, kind of shiny red. So those are cool. And I actually really like the head sculpt, actually. If you panel line properly, the head sculpt is really cool, I think. Right, if I see all that little black panel lining I got in there. So the head looks really cool to me. He also comes with a different option to put this head in. He's got the little purple chin there. So you could also put that instead. So you got to make a choice if you want this head, the one that I chose, or that head, or face, or whatever. But I chose this one because I think it looks a little cooler, I think. But yeah, if there's any kits that you guys want me to review in the future, let me know, and I'll try to get my hands on them. I feel like I know quite a few places that can get their hands on the kits that you want. They just might cost me a little more. But if you're looking for anything else Gundam, check out Show Me What You Bought. His website is ibuildrobots.ca. And thank you to NGYN Music, Niggin. I'm just kidding, it's New In Music. And I'll catch you guys in the next video.